PlayStation Drive is starting. While you wait, make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell icon on YouTube to be notified of future goodness. If you enjoy our show, we'd love it if you gave us a 5-star review or rating on your podcast service of choice. To continue the conversation, join the Carpool Gaming Discord, where you can find a wholesome community to have a chit-chat with. For some exclusive content, you can also support us on Patreon. And finally, don't forget to check out the Carpool Gaming website for an awesome range of merch. Links to all that and more are in the show notes, but without further ado, let's get revved up for the PlayStation Drive. Whoa.
What's good, everyone? Welcome on in to the PlayStation Drive. This is episode 143. I'm one of your hosts, Ryan, and I'm joined, as always, by Fulia, Matt, and Ron. How is everyone doing on this lovely, lovely night? Or I guess it's Easter for Fulia right now.
It's Easter Sunday! Happy Easter, everyone.
Yeah.
Time travel.
It's amazing.
Yeah, no kidding.
Exactly. Like I was reminded of it by your little ears there, Fulia, because I totally forgot about that until just now. Because it also feels weird because like Easter this year is also April Fool's Day, so it's like you're fooling people, but it's also celebrating Easter stuff. It's weird.
Well, the public holiday falls on the 1st of April, so technically the Sunday is the Easter day.
That's what I mean, but it's also technically April Fool's Day. It's both. It's weird. It's weird. Okay, I can't believe it's weird that we were celebrating Easter stuff in March this year. Okay, it's weird.
Look, I also want to bring to the table here. Like, it's Easter. We have to talk about chocolate, and I have my Easter bunny chocolate here, right here. It's a Kit Kat bunny. It's a Kit Kat bunny. Now, my question for the community, just quickly, how do you eat your chocolate bunnies? Do you start from the ears or do you start from the feet?
Well,
I go with the ears.
Oh.
How about you?
Aren't you supposed to like behead them first and just eat their head whole?
Exactly, Ryan. I mean, don't you just like rip their heads off? And
Yeah.
Just bite anywhere. It's just chocolate. Yeah.
I mean, Seth in the chat also agrees.
Yeah.
Like that.
Seth is doing it right.
That just seems like the only the most
thing.
ethical way to do that.
I only bring up the fact that it's a Kit Kat one, and because Seth's here, the way he eats his Kit Kat, wrong. So that's why.
Wow.
Here.
Wait, hold on. You mean the wrong way is not to just eat it whole? Because I thought that's what you're supposed to do.
No. Break him finger at a time. One finger at a time. That's how you eat him.
Fulia, I thought that you and I agreed on a lot of stuff, over the course of the first month and a half, but now I'm starting to question things. Here.
Nope.
I mean, next thing you're going to start telling me you like waffles over pancakes.
No, I still like pancakes.
No, we're not going to do that here. We're not going to do that here.
Pancakes are still good.
No.
It's too early.
Instead, y'all want to spend the next 45 minutes talking about Criminal Minds? Because, we can do that too.
Oh, no, actually, instead of Criminal Minds,
Here we go.
I have a detective for you, and that is the wonderful Hercule Poirot that I've been watching. That I've been watching this past week. I am now on to season 4 of this show, and I love it so much. This Agatha Christie's Poirot is amazing, and it's very big. This is the first part of the collection. I still have a second collection to go.
Oh,
so
nice. It's now available on DVD, I see.
Oh, yes. Very chunky DVDs, box set.
Thick. How thick, Ron? How thick is that?
You didn't want to say thick like
It's
last
thick.
time?
Chunky. Chunky's a better word. Thank you very much.
Look, the audio listeners don't know about this. We don't have a PlayStation Drive post show where they hear about the stuff we talk about after the show. I mean, God, otherwise they would have known about Pepsi Man like 2 months ago.
True indeed.
Yeah, exactly.
True indeed.
Yeah.
That's right, Matt. You called her out.
Respectfully chunky. Respectfully thick.
You did the right thing.
Respectfully, of course.
Respectfully.
Of course. Of course.
Respectfully.
Look, it's fine. It's fine. This is the PlayStation Drive. We talk about PlayStation all the dang time, except for right now, because we're gonna hop into this. We don't have really any housekeeping tonight, so because we kept the place pretty tidy. I think, over the last couple of weeks. So we're going to just move on, and we're going to grab our 8 tracks, pop them in. It's time for the playlist, and oh my God, I'm looking at all the games you wrote down. There's a lot of games to get into. Now, Ron, as always, I always go to you first when we do the playlist. I would like you to save your talk about a specific demo that you and I both played until it comes around again. So what else did you play besides the specific demo?
So I beat Oxenfree 2. That was a disappointing experience. It was not a bad experience, but as much as I tried my best to not put the first Oxenfree in my mind, it still ended up being kind of the bar for it. And I kind of knew about like the first 30, 40 minutes in that it was not going to be as good as the first. The writing wasn't as tight. Characters weren't as good. The story was kind of just, it was just a very middle ground experience. I didn't hate it, but it was just okay. So once I was done with that, spun the wheel, Fall of Porcupine.
Matt from the press pool.
What's up?
Hi, Matt.
Hello, friend.
First time, long time. So, is it cheeks or one cheek or something different? I'm just curious because it's not good. So
It's not a bad game, so it's not cheeks. Okay. It's just okay. It is really just a middle experience, right between good and bad. It's not cheeks though. Yeah, right. So it's nothing like that.
No. I mean, there are plenty of other games that are cheeks. Maybe the game you're about to talk about that you were transitioning into.
Fall of Porcupine, it wasn't cheeks, but I was not clicking with that one at all. Actually wasn't going to mention it. I'm sorry to Lockliff. Wow. I'm sorry to Koala.
Speak your truth, Ron. Speak your truth.
I got to. I just wasn't clicking with it. It was, I don't know, a lot of the conversations kind of just went nowhere. It just...
Ooh.
Yeah.
Damn.
I was just one of those where I was just like, but see, I talked to Matt about this the other night because I kept having a problem going back to it. And I felt it in my gut like this isn't going to probably work out. And I tried today and I was just like, yeah, I'm going to go have to drop this. So that's exactly what I did.
It's such a shame.
Yeah. So, yeah, I was disappointed by that, but it is what it is. Sometimes that's just the way it works out. So, yeah that's the week.
No, sometimes, a game could be really good, but it just can just not be for you. Or maybe you're just not in the mood for that type of game when it comes along, and it's okay to move on from that kind of thing. It's totally cool. But
sometimes you have to.
So Jan32 is asking for in the chat, like, the Cheeks rating scale to be officially established. And where does this fit on the Cheeks rating scale?
It's not Cheeks. I would probably put it, from what I played of it, maybe about a 6. For it to be Cheeks, it's got to be about a 5 or lower.
So is that where the scale starts then? The scale starts at not cheeks and then, half a cheek? And then
it really depends. I've played some games that it's cheeks right from like the first 5-10 minutes in. But that wasn't one of those games. Like I said, it's not that. It's not a bad game.
Fair enough. I feel like we need this on a shirt or something, like the scale just drawn out like half a cheek for one cheek, 1.5 cheeks if full cheeks.
No. Just
like
cheeks
an
and that's
infograph.
it.
You need an infograph to explain it. Yeah.
Look, Fulia's already jotted it down in the journal. What's happening?
Thank you,
Oh
Fulia.
my God.
You can start drawing the infograph as well if you want.
No.
Look, I have my tablet.
She
ready.
has her hands full with Sean's loopholes and yours, Matt.
Yeah.
She doesn't need extra.
She can squeeze some cheeks in there.
Damn it, Matt.
And that's when the show ran off the rails. 9 minutes and 50 seconds into the
Wow.
show.
Oh, man.
Off the rails. Oh, my God. This is what happens when Joe in the chat says cheeks is their new favorite word.
Wow.
This is just what happens. Also, this week has been, a really great, week for merch ideas. We got, the cheek scale. We had NPCs is what we came up with, the RPG Cave
And
fans.
I like that one a lot. Yeah.
Non-podcast characters, to the point where Hopple has now adopted it as part of their name in Discord. To just the Xbox Drive and the Criminal Minds, logo kind of format. Like those are, I got some good merch ideas.
Don't forget about the One Experience. The One Experience
Oh,
shirt.
the One Experience.
Oh.
That's right.
One full experience. Thank you, Ron.
Speaking of one full experience, segue, Matt, I see a bunch of stuff here that's one full experience. Tell me about it.
I wrapped up Thirsty Suitors, which is the Backtrackers game. I think we are meeting April 13th, 11 a.m. So if you want to join in, you can join the Discord. So it's a game that a few of us play in the community, then we meet up to discuss it. So fantastic game, especially for free 99. Very minor spoiler. The ending, I was a little disappointed just because it is a dating game and you have opportunities to meet your exes and then kind of reconcile with them. I assumed that there was some choice in terms of who you get to romance. I don't think there's any choice. I think the ending that I got is the only ending that's available. So I was a little disappointed that I didn't have an option to romance one person, or I won't say what the ending is, but in this case, I didn't get to pick who I wanted to romance. And that was a little disappointing. But other than that, fantastic game with incredible dialogue, very witty humor, basic RPG elements. So still a good game, especially for free 99. Would still highly recommend it. And then I've been all in for Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. I don't want to go in too much detail just because I've already done a 15-minute PowerPoint. So if you want to know all my thoughts, you can check it out. It's on the Carpool Gaming Twitter. The one thing I do...
Oh, hold on. Matt. Oh. I gotta. You mentioned the video you put out on Twitter. Who, pray tell, responded to said video?
Many people were. Oh, that's right. We had a few people respond. But surprisingly, Microsoft PowerPoint responded to the Twitter video, and not only did they responded with some Final Fantasy puns. So I was shocked, but I guess I shouldn't have been shocked that the Microsoft team are a bunch of dorks. Just like us.
They make software. You should know this. Come on.
I love that. That was like one of my favorite things.
It was great.
From last
really
week.
Was.
Also, shout out to everyone who watched that video. That video is actually the most watched video in Carpool Gaming history that's not a short. So there you go.
Yeah, Matt.
Wow.
Yeah.
There you go.
Everyone likes PowerPoints.
Little bro.
PowerPoints, guys.
Yeah, exactly. So I just wanted to give you, kudos for that. But anyways, continue to talk about this game.
I'm still chipping away at the Platinum Trophy, which means getting A rank or getting the best ranks in all the mini games, which includes Queen's Blood, which is a card game. Fort Condor is like would you guys say it's like a real-time strategy battle game?
Yeah, that's probably how I would describe it. I don't know if anyone else here actually even knows how Fort Condor even plays.
Yeah, it's kind of like a real-time strategy battle game. It's really intense, but I beat all of them on normal. Now I have to do it on hard. Can't wait to do that. Did the leapfrog, did the piano stuff. So the mini games are getting to me, but it's okay. I can do this. I want that platinum. I'm staying the course. And the last thing I just want to say is really enjoying just the side stuff. So there's summon battles that you can do, and I went to check to see what level I needed to be to face the summon, like a recommended level, and I was very surprised to see that it said level sync, which means you can't grind to get to a certain level. Whatever level you are is what the summon's going to be. So in my opinion, that's the game's way of saying you better get good if you want to face off the summon. There is an option to find like 3 things about the summon to make it weaker, but I'm like, you know what? I need to practice suffering. So I did not play on that difficulty. I said, you know what? Fight the summon at the fullest might. Don't exploit its weaknesses. Let's just see how much pain I can endure. And it's very gratifying. Beat it in half an hour or so. I just love that stuff. I love the fact that the game gives you that stuff. It's optional. Like if you don't want to do the summon, you can just mainline it and just go stop Sephiroth. But for me, he can wait. I got other stuff to do in Final Fantasy VII Rebirth.
Look, he's not going to get his objective done any sooner if you don't, do anything about it. You might as well, stop and enjoy the moment at this point. In fact,
would be a horrible hero. He would be a horrible hero. This is all this is showing.
That's why I said on the Xbox Drive. I think they asked what was the question about like if you would survive in the last world you're playing, and I was like, I'm gonna die in Final Fantasy VII Rebirth because I'm busy playing Queen's Blood, doing Fort Condor.
People depend on you. This is what you're doing.
I'll be dead. I'll be dead, ladies and gentlemen.
Everybody would.
Look, the world will wait. It's fine.
Thanks.
It's fine. It's fine. Good God. Well, there you go. Well, I'm glad you're still enjoying it. In fact, on your Twitter, it's literally just been stuff of the different mini games and stuff. So I figured like when you were coming to the table tonight, that's what we were to mostly talk about. So there you go. But Fulia, how about you? What'd you play?
I've been playing a few games. I've been sort of just dabbling in a bit of like just chilling out while watching my Hercule Poirot show. I've been chilling out with some Mario versus Donkey Kong, just trying to get through those levels, trying to 100% them. And then I've also been playing some mobile games on my tablet, though, on this here tablet. And I will say there have been a couple of games that I got a little bit addicted to. So one called Pocket Love, which is like a little cute little anime-fied simulation dating game, which is really cute, and I really like it. And then because of the ads from that game, I came across another mobile game that's known as Township, which is essentially a city building management sim. And it's actually quite fun, and it's also got mini games in it, and you can to get resources and all that sort of stuff to build your town and all that. So it's actually been quite fun playing that to just chill out when you're just sort of watching something in the background at the same time. Another game I will mention, just as a kind of when I'm feeling like I need something to cheer me up a little bit. I've been playing a little indie game made by a good friend of mine by the name of Stuffity, first time Australian game developer, and he's made a game called Sugar Jar, which is highly inspired by the Suika game, but instead of it being fruit, it's actually pastries and like cookies and chocolate chips and cakes, and it's really cute and very kawaii. And I really love it. It's in its early access stage, so you can actually go and grab it now. It's like $2 or $3 on Steam, and he's still sort of working on it and building on it. I was very it was a big pleasure of mine, an honor of mine, to be able to be part of his closed beta group, to help with creating, help with feedback on certain things. Like it's got control, like a controller input, so you can use your controller if you want. At the moment it's just Xbox. He's working on PlayStation controllers as well. But it's nuts. It's a nice chill game. There is an option to mute the music if you find that the music is getting a bit too much for you. Which is one feedback that he noticed from the Suika game. So there is that option.
Yeah, I wonder where that feedback might have come from. Not being able to mute the music from Suika. Literally, as soon as Sturgill saw this, thank God. Capital letters.
So there is an option to mute the music if you really want to, and you play your own music.
Several people are excited about this.
Yes.
Yeah. It might be one of the best features.
There you go. I would highly recommend checking out Sugar Jar.
Amazing.
And then the last one that I want to mention is a game that I have finally platinumed. It's the one I've been focusing on this week. And that is Harmony: The Fall of Reverie. I've already played through it once. This time it was a second playthrough from the start because I wanted to see all the different options and choices and the outcomes from the decisions you make. And I've been really enjoying that game so much that I wanted to go back and platinum this game. The story of it is amazing. I love the visual aesthetics of it all. The art style is so good. It's voice acted. It's mostly voice acted apart from the inner thoughts that your main character has, which you have to read. Yes, Ron.
For the platinum, do you have to do multiple playthroughs, or is there a chapter select?
There is a chapter select. So if you do, if you do feel like you don't want to go through a whole new playthrough, there is a chapter or an act, because it goes by act and then by chapter. So if you do want to, if you don't want to go from scratch, you can do chapter selects.
Ah, that's perfect.
Yes, Ryan.
Question from the chat. This comes from Yon32. What platform is Sugar Jar on?
Currently, it is on Steam, so it's just PC at the moment.
Okay.
Yeah. Perfect.
I'm
not sure if they're working on doing it for any other platform, but I don't know. Okay. Yeah, go check it out on Steam. Give them some feedback. It's still in early access, so go, yeah.
Yeah. And second, now that you've got your next platinum, here's your crown back. You are now officially
back ahead.
The queen of platinum. You are now officially ahead. You're top of the leaderboards.
What I tell you.
Yeah, I guess that. Yeah, this is number 6 for 2024.
Yeah, right.
The queen is back.
The queen of platinums has now returned. Here's your crown.
Well
Ron,
done.
you are now no longer your royal bareness.
I'll have it back again by tomorrow. I know it's like 3 or
See?
4 hours long. I'll get it back. I ain't worried about it.
Please.
I feel like we need to get like a digital crown and just have it sort of plop into our windows whenever we're like winning in platinums.
Oh my God. Now that I look at the program that we're using, I think that actually might be able to be arranged. So you never know.
That's
You never
what I'm talking
know.
about.
We'll look into that later. But
Enjoy Koala. Enjoy while you have
Thank
it.
you.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
yes, congrats. Also, glad to hear that you finally finished. You've got platinum and that you
Yes.
enjoyed your time with it.
Spiritfarer, that needs to come next. Just saying.
Won't platinum itself.
Thank you, Matt.
I still feel like there's a distinct possibility that Seth plays Ghost of Tsushima before she goes back to the Spiritfarer platinum.
No way.
Seth's not touching that game.
No way.
Even though I got to give it to Seth, he made me crack up pretty hard yesterday with his Photoshoppery. It's too much to explain now.
Yeah.
But people who follow me and Seth on Twitter, they'll know.
I saw that. It was good.
It really was.
Yeah. Anyways, moving on. I played some games this week as well, y'all. I don't know if you knew this. I played Final Fantasy 14 this week.
Yeah, you did.
I know.
Yeah, you did.
I know.
Yes.
I can't. Well,
Didn't see that coming.
I mean, this is just brand new information for y'all. Well, actually, there was progress this week because the Dawn Trail pre-order went up this week, which meant, of course, the pre-order items for Dawn Trail are now in the game. So I got my little mini Zidane minion, Zidane from Final Fantasy IX, but also some earrings to allow me to level my character, my jobs a little bit faster. So I've got 6 jobs left before I've got all of them to level 90, like all 17 jobs. And I got some extra XP so I can blaze through them before Dawn Trail comes out. That's kind of my new mission. So that's still going. But then I hopped into a PlayStation Classic this week, and I've had a very hard time putting it down because this is honestly one of my favorite role-playing games of all time. I talked about it on RPG Cave this week as one of my favorite role-playing games of all time. That game's The Legend of Dragoon from the PlayStation 1. Of course, this came to the PlayStation Plus Premium selection, but I had already owned it on PlayStation 3. So it was free $99 for me since I had already paid for like $5 for it on PS3 like ages ago. But it's got, some new features. It's got like the rewind feature. It's got save states. So even though there are like save game points in the game, you can just save anywhere now, which is pretty awesome. But it's been really cool, like playing this game on my PlayStation 5 in the year of our Lord 2024. We just don't get to do that often with PlayStation 1 games because I've felt like the selection they've brought over from PlayStation Plus has not really been the greatest PlayStation 1 games. You got like the Jet Moto games and Cool Borders and the Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace, as well as, some other winners from the PlayStation 1 era. Like, there haven't been, the selection has been definitely lacking. But Legend of Dragoon being, a first-party game and being one of the best games on the PlayStation 1, like, it was super cool to have this available now. So I'm going for the Platinum, which is, of course, basically just means just beating the game and then getting all of the in-game collectibles, which is just very easy. Like, I have a guide up just in case, but I basically actually have them all memorized because I've played this game so many times. But I've been really enjoying revisiting Legend of Dragoon. It looks really good on the PlayStation 5, on the way it scales on my 4K TV. Looks really nice. I even have been putting up pictures on my Twitter every night, basically, from it, like going over like some of the stuff I like. For example, I like the pre-rendered backgrounds. A lot of PS1 games get a lot of flack for their pre-rendered backgrounds, like not standing the test of time. But I think this game still looks pretty good because I love just how unique a lot of the locations are, and I've just been really enjoying just the active exploring in this game more than anything. The music's still great as well. Combat's super fun, and this game is still great in the year 2024. So I'm so glad I'm going back to it and giving it another go. But last game that I played kind of transitions it into our topic, which is why I wanted to leave this one for last. And Ron, you and I both played this game at the same time. Well, maybe not the same time, but we both played it yesterday. The Stellar Blade demo is out. We both played it. It didn't get taken away from us this time, Ron. It stayed in our libraries this time.
It did.
Yeah, and I want to know, man, before I give my thoughts, what did you think about it?
I enjoyed it. It was about what I was expecting from all the trailers I had saw. I was just like, okay, combat seems like it was going to be pretty solid. It seemed a lot like a less polished Bayonetta to me, and that's not a knock against it. It's just Capcom, and we all know how Platinum Games does. So, but it is a solid. It seems like it's going to be a solid game, and I really was not expecting that. I was thinking it was going to kind of fall short of my expectations a little bit, but it seems like that's going to be a solid one. It could be PlayStation's Bayonetta. They mess around, but a good one on that one.
Yeah.
Yes, Matt. Yes.
People are saying that it's like Souls-like games. So is it punishingly difficult? Because that makes me worried. Like,
I think the reason why a lot of people are going right to the Dark Souls thing is the way that the camps are handled, where if you rest at a camp, it resets the enemies.
Oh.
I would not say that the difficulty, it's tough, but I don't think it's punishingly tough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's tough but fair is what I
Yeah,
would say. Like
yeah.
it feels like anytime I died in the demo, it was my fault.
Yeah.
And not the
Agreed.
game being overly cheap. And it actually like reminds me a lot of, besides Bayonetta, like Ninja Gaiden or Devil May Cry, like it gives me that kind of feel to it.
Yeah.
Or even like a harder version of Final Fantasy 16 in a lot of ways. Like that's kind of how I felt about this game. And I too, Ron, also really enjoyed the demo. I thought it was pretty darn good. I will say that the combat felt a little bit slower than what I'm used to from some of the games that we mentioned, like Bayonetta.
Yeah.
For some of the faster action games. It almost feels like it's kind of a nice in-between the clunkiness and slowness of something like Dark Souls or Bloodborne and Ninja Gaiden. Like it's in a sweet spot in the middle of those two as far as the speed goes.
My friend Max actually said it reminded him a lot of Darksiders 3. I didn't think of that until actually when he said that, and I was just like, yeah.
I know Jordan brings up a good point in the chat as well. Other reason people are pointing to the Dark Souls thing is the parry system. But yeah, like other games have parry systems. Ninja Gaiden has a parry system.
Yeah.
Like that's not new. Like that's not like
Sekiro
a
got
Souls
mentioned a lot, and I was just like, this doesn't feel like Sekiro at all.
No, I feel like again, like you mentioned, Ron, like they took kind of like the camp system from Dark Souls, but then integrated into a different style of game.
Yeah.
Which I really enjoyed. Like and the music. Oh my God, Ron, the music is so good in this.
Yeah, it is. I was expecting it to be, but yeah, that soundtrack is nice.
Yeah. Matt, of course, was motioning towards himself because honestly, the music just reminded me so much of Nier's music in so many ways. Like, and we know it's the same composer.
I think the same composer has something to do with this one.
It's the same composer.
Matt, you'll like the soundtrack for sure.
Yeah. So
tempted, very tempted now.
I was gonna say, like, I think that this game might actually be up your alley as well. Like, it's not as fast moving as Nier, but it's pretty darn good. Like, this might be like between this and Helldivers and Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. Like, I think PlayStation first party or PlayStation exclusives have a pretty darn good year.
Oh, another
this
one.
year.
Yeah, man.
It's gonna be good. But Matt, question from the press pool.
Tell us about the plot. That's why we're all playing this game for. Tell us about the story.
Well, they didn't tell us too much in the demo. There's not really much there, really. Now, if you want me to talk about Taki, respectfully, of course.
Of course.
Of course.
I love Jason's comment here. I found myself sitting in the menu listening to the music after I finished the demo.
Yeah, that music is great.
It's that good. Jan32 asks, will this be on PlayStation Plus within 12 months? I doubt it.
Yeah, I don't think so, man. I think this is going to be one of those, it's kind of like Ryan said, I think this is going to be one of those, like, surprise hits for them. That demo, I think, was important for them to put out. I know everybody's been talking about the way Eve looks and stuff, but, man, this is a solid game behind that.
Yeah. Like, this is a game that in 12 months I could see coming to PC, but not necessarily PlayStation Plus. Like, I could see it coming to other platforms, but not making the jump to PlayStation Plus, like becoming free $99. So, this was a game that was like on my radar, but I wasn't like super excited about it. But like this demo actually really sold me on it in a big way. So this is a day one for me, I think, next month in an already crowded month. Cause there's already like 6 games I'm looking forward to next month. And this is just another one on the list. It also comes at the same day as Ayuden Chronicles 100 Heroes too, which just makes me sad.
Man. Oh boy.
I need to finish that demo. I mean that prologue soon.
I was gonna say you've only got 27 more days, Fulia, to finish it.
Time's running out.
Yeah,
That and Spirit Fairy, you're running out of time.
I'm gonna be focusing on Ayuden Chronicle Rising then.
yeah. Yarden points out, good point here. It's actually a really good game under the obvious aesthetics. Because I know I saw a lot of chatter on Twitter with it coming out where people were really, one way or another with the aesthetics. But yeah, the game itself seems solid. And yeah, the story, to Ron's point, there just wasn't a ton of it in the demo because it is the first 30 minutes of the game. You're a bunch of characters trying to take back Earth that has been overrun by these monsters, and that's all you kind of need to know about the story in the demo. And there are some other things that happen in the demo story-wise, but I just don't want to spoil them. I kind of want people to experience it for themselves.
Experience for yourself.
Yeah, exactly. So, well, speaking of the Stellar Blade demo, that transitions us into topic of the week. So we, of course, want to talk about demos this week, like whether or not we play demos, whether we don't play demos, and why we don't, and of course, like what type of demos we prefer. And this felt like the perfect time to do that. So first off, Ron, you and I both check out demos quite a bit, right? Like you play a lot of demos, Ron?
I'm kind of middle ground with it. It really depends on if it's a game that I'm interested in and I'm not very sure about or not. Stellar Blade was one of those. That's the reason why I jumped in on that. Unicorn Overlord, I was pretty sold on getting that one down the line, so I didn't play that one. But Stellar Blade I wanted to play because I was like, let me see if this is actually going to be something I'm interested in. Because like you, it had been on my radar, but it was one of those like, I'll wait for a sale. We'll see what happens. But yeah, once I played that demo, I was like, this might not be a 50, 60% sale for me. This might be maybe a 25, maybe a 20.
Yeah. Like, I think it's a good, demo is a good way to gauge, whether or not a game is for you. This comes back to the conversation we had about Fall of Porcupine. It's a good way of determining whether or not a game is for you. Because, if there was a demo for Fall of Porcupine,
there was,
and you played that, you might have been like, oh, well, maybe this isn't for me, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I played the demo to Fall of Porcupine, and that's what sold me on actually wanting it so bad. And then I got it as a birthday gift anyway, so...
So you're locked in. You have to.
I'm locked in. I'm going to be playing it,
Nice. Well, but again, for sure that's the game that's for you. You're going to enjoy it.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like a koala game, though. I'm not too surprised by it. And it's not a diss. It's just, it does have that vibe to it. It's very Night in the Woods like. And I know that has a lot of fans. I like Night in the Woods, too, until I didn't.
There you go. So, Fulia, you played the Fall of Porcupine demo. Do you play a lot of demos?
I really do enjoy playing demos. For me, it's my way of figuring out whether or not I'm actually going to be interested in playing the game if I buy the full thing. So, I love it when Steam Next Fest does this. A lot of game developers who are part of Steam Next Fest will actually upload their version of a demo for their games to get everybody a little bit of an understanding of what they're going to expect from the game, which is what I love. And then even if not even during any kind of event time, a lot of game developers will bring out demos just to sell you the fact that this is going to be a great game. So for me, demos are definitely a way for me to gauge whether or not it's worth my money and my time. But also just to gauge whether or not I'm actually going to enjoy it in general. So I do that a lot with Steam games. Nintendo will also have some good demos there. Generally, the only demos you will see is if they're the first-party Nintendo games. Some of the third-party games that pop up in the eShop sometimes might have a demo up available. Just really depends. But yeah, demos are just a great way for me to figure out whether or not I'm actually going to enjoy it or not, and that's when I'll be more can't think of the word, but it'll make me want to probably buy it. Yeah,
you're more interested.
yeah.
I thought your brain was resetting. I was like, "What's going on? Are we doing a reboot here?"
Buffering. Sorry,
you
I need
reboot
the
podcast. Reboot. You press your badge like those folks in the show Reboot. Of course, I might be the only one who gets. Maybe Matt might understand that, Joe. But
Was that a Canadian show only?
It was a Canadian show. Yeah.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
No, everybody knows Reboot. Come on. It's on YTV. Oh, that's a Canadian channel.
That's what I mean. It's a Canadian-made show about people that are in computers, and it's a great show. People should check it out. But Matt, what about you? Because I think you're definitely the person who doesn't play demos, right?
I don't know what it is. Yeah, I generally don't play demos. You know, a part of me feels like if I want this game, that I'm just gonna wait. Even though it's illogical. Like I remember a few weeks ago, Ryan, you told me that, you know, if you do the Final Fantasy VII Rebirth demo, you get to carry over some stuff. There's bonuses, and it carries over. So there's literally no logical reason for me not to do it. But I was just very stubborn in terms of like, I had it set in my mind that I'm going to pick up the game on Friday. That's when I get the full experience. That's when I get the deluxe edition in my hand. And I just wanted to protect that moment, I guess. So it's a bit... So for games that I know I'm all in for, even though logically I'd be getting a head start on it, I don't know why I do that. Ron from the press pool.
Friend, brother, you just said that you won full experience is the reason why you passed on this. But yet, lately, you've been chopping up 3 and 4 games into one full experience. So a demo for the same game that you can actually get benefits from, you don't want to play?
I don't know why. I really don't.
Make the madness stop.
There's no, the madness just continues. I don't know why. I just want to preserve the experience. Like it is weird because there are banger titles. Like I even remember like Resident Evil 7, Resident Evil 4, Resident Evil 2. They all had the demos, and I want to say at least Resident Evil 2, Resident Evil 4, it's the opening 60 to 90 minutes. Maybe it saves over, maybe it doesn't. But like again, I just knew that I wanted to savor that day one purchase, picking it up, bringing it home, and playing it. It's illogical. I could get a head start, but I just want to savor that moment. Now, that being said, I am slowly getting more leaning towards it, because every time I go on PSN, like, and I check out games, it says like you can get a free demo for 2 hours if you had PS Plus Premium, which is a really good addition. It really adds value to that tier. So I am tempted, especially for a lot of the indie games that I do play, just because those ones for the Backtrackers games, I usually do like no research because I kind of want to dive into it. But I think for smaller titles that I'm not familiar with, I think it would be nice to have a demo just to, again, like what Ron and Foley said, just to get a taste of it so that I can see if I like it or I don't like it before I spend the $20 to $30. So I'm not that stubborn. I might do it a bit later. Depends on what game it is.
Stellar Blade is free $99. Just want to throw that out there. Near Composer. Just want to throw that out there.
Another thing, and it's more madness, for games like Stellar Blade, which is like, I'm not all in, but I'm pretty close to being all in. Mm-hmm. I don't want to get the demo, and then I fall in love with it, and then I'm not going to buy it because I already have this plan.
Because your ridiculous no games rule this year?
No new games.
Well, that's true. He can't.
I'm not.
We know.
Yeah. I got Final Fantasy Rebirth. That platinum's 200 hours. I'm only 25. I got to stay the course. So games that I am almost over the fence for, I don't want to get the demo because then it's like, well, now I'm just going to be like, I'm just like tempting myself to leave the current game that I'm playing to move on. So I don't want to do that. The only times I have played demos, I actually, as I was thinking about it now, I have played some demos and they were at Fan Expo when they used to do demos. So, and these were for games that I was really hyped for. It was for Luigi's Mansion 3, Super Smash Bros., Spider-Man, Final Fantasy VII Remake. And these were demos well before the games came out. Like, Fan Expo is in August?
Yeah, it was basically like Fan Expo used to be in a lot of ways where all the game demos that would be at E3 would come for Canadian media to check out, but then they would just have them on the show floor there for us to check out. So, like, I used to go there all the time too, Matt, and I remember, like, that used to be the thing, like, pre-pandemic. Oh my God, like, that was one of my favorite things about Fan Expo was getting to check out game demos that were on the show floor.
It was mind-blowing just to play Final Fantasy VII Remake, like, in August, and when did that game come out? Like, March, April? Like,
yeah,
that's, like, 5-6 months ahead. Like, so, I don't know, maybe because it was, like, the sense of FOMO, or because I was there and all the hype is there with everybody playing it. How can I be foolish not to play it there? So I don't know what... So those are the few times that I did play demos. I don't think Fan Expo does that anymore. I'm hoping they bring it back, but no,
Well, it's like, it's not their fault. Like, game companies just aren't coming with their demos. Like, that's more the thing. Like, they're just like, yes, please bring your stuff, and they just haven't, and like no one's come back with their stuff, which is too bad, because that was one of the most appealing reasons to go to Fan Expo was with some of those demos. Like, I played Uncharted 3 at Fan Expo a year and a half before that game came out. Like, that was so cool, and it was the game's multiplayer. Like, we were like playing like there was like a multiplayer demo for Uncharted 3 well before the game came out, and yeah, there was all kinds of demos like that there, which was super cool. So. Yeah, too bad, but yeah, maybe we're softening Matt up a little bit at least on demos per se.
I'm leaning towards it. I am curious about it, and you know, I think I do agree with everybody on the team that demos are good for games. Like Ron, like I assume you're getting Stellar Blade. It's going on the wheel at some point.
Oh, it's going to happen. That's getting purchased. I can tell you that for sure.
Yeah. See,
respectfully,
respectfully, of course.
I see the way Koala was looking. Respectfully, Koala. Respectfully.
Yeah. Fully, are you going to check out the Stellar Blade demo after Ryan and Ron's high praise? No? Not even check out the demo? It's $3.99.
It's not my type of game. It's not a koala game.
I just told you it was very similar to Final Fantasy 16's combat.
There you go. There you go. Instead of Clive and Sid, you have Eve and Taki.
Yeah.
Win-win.
Settle, Bear.
No, yeah. Never.
Look, you gotta settle respectfully, of course. Respectfully.
Of course.
Of course.
But yeah, because you're right. Like I think demos also really serve a really important purpose in the game industry. I know that not like developers come out on a record saying that they necessarily don't love demos because it requires like having a separate team within the company go off and make the demos and kind of build like a separate build from the main game. But I think it really can have a very positive effect on a game and bring more eyes to a game that really should have deserved it. Like Stellar Blade's a perfect example of that, where I feel like a lot of people were like me that were very much on the fence about this game and weren't like day one hyped for this game. But after that demo, like I saw nothing but people saying that they enjoyed the game over on Twitter or on social media. So I do feel like that's really helped the game's chances. I also do feel like a demo can hurt a game's chances in a lot of ways. And we'll get into that with Antix's question. Because Antix asks, what's one demo that managed to convince you to play a game you would never actually attempt otherwise? If not, what's a demo that ended up saving you $70+ by skipping the game entirely? So one of the games that I know made me skip the game after I was actually excited about it, that Yon32 already brought up in chat just now, Forspoken was one that I was like, that demo turned me off from that game so hard, which is too bad because that game I actually ended up really enjoying when I did give it a chance. Like that demo ruined, any hope of me liking that game or having any interest in that game. It just happened to be there was a really good sale over that summer after the game kind of sort of flopped last year, where I was like, you know what? I'll give this a try. I didn't click with the demo, but maybe that's just one part of the game. We knew that it was kind of like a separate slice from the game, so it wasn't representative of the experience you're gonna have with the full game. And turns out that was the correct mentality, because the full game itself felt very different from the demo, and it was definitely. I was so thankful that I actually ended up giving the game a chance after the demo had soured me on the experience, 100%. But then the other game I'll bring up that, a game kind of like Stellar Blade that I was not interested in at all and probably wouldn't have given a chance to, but I played the demo and ended up actually picking up but haven't played yet, is Contra Operation Galuga, which just came out recently this month. After seeing, what happened with the previous Contra game, Contra, Rogue Core, which was like that god awful 3 out of 10, top down Contra game that came out a few years ago, combined with the fact that we saw, trailers for this at the Nintendo Directs, and it did not look great because the Switch version of that game is not a great version of that game. But the demo really sold me on it in a big way, where it played really well on PlayStation, and I like Contra. And it felt like just playing one of the old Contra games, and that's exactly the type of experience I wanted from Operation Galuga. So yeah, the demo really sold me on it in a lot of ways and convinced me to play it when I was already very down on it. But I want to know from you. We'll start with Fulia first. What about you? What do you think about Ed6's question here?
So this one's a real big, obvious one for me. The demo that convinced me to go out of my way to buy the game was none other than Final Fantasy 16. Kudos to my workmate who convinced me to actually try the demo first. He's like, just try it, see if you like the story, see if you can gel with the gameplay. If you don't like it, then you won't have to buy it. And I'm like, all right, fine. And then I loved it so much that I wanted to find out what happened next, so I ended up buying the game itself and then proceeded to play it for the next 4 months after.
Thirst mode engaged.
No, not because of that. Thank you very much. Anyways, and I'd say the second part of that question, a game that probably saved me money, but I don't know, maybe I just need to give it another try. The Tales of Arise demo, I tried it, and for some reason I couldn't, and I think this might have been at the time where I was first sort of trying out RPGs for the first time, and I wanted to see what it was like, and so I jumped into the demo of it. I was not gelling with the combat system, I think it was, and maybe the storytelling was, I don't know, like something within the first, I'd say, half an hour of that demo, it did not click with me. And so I didn't end up continuing on with the demo, which also told me not to buy the game. I may have, my opinion of RPGs probably has definitely changed since then, and I've gotten a bit more experience now. So there's a possibility that I might go back and try the demo again and see whether or not I could actually click with it better now that I know what to expect from RPG games. So that one kind of saved me, but it was probably the wrong time for me because I was only just starting to get into RPGs. But I will say there have been demos that I have played that I have enjoyed, but not so much, kind of like Ron said, but I just didn't buy day one. So there have been games in the past where like their demos, I may have gelled with it, but there weren't a certain, I have to buy it straight away as soon as it's released kind of a thing. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm sitting with those. Another game that I actually really enjoyed the demo of that I haven't actually had the opportunity to play yet, was the Prince of Persia Lost Crown. So as you can see, it's still in its seal, but I will eventually get around to it. It's in my backlog, but I really enjoyed the demo to this. I wasn't sure whether or not I was going to enjoy, because the fact that it was a very Metroidvania heavy kind of platformy game, but I really enjoyed just like the aesthetics of it and where the story was kind of going, and I didn't mind the gameplay of it, like, and the fact that it's also got accessibility features so that if I do find myself having a hard time, I can turn those on and then, just sort of go through those stages where I can. So yeah, I'm looking forward to playing that, but the demo did convince me to grab it, so
Nice. Yeah, that game just went on sale this week, so I saw a lot of people picking that game up again.
Yeah. But Unicorn Overlord is also one that I've tried. Like, I've been playing the demo of. I really want to get it, but just right now I can't afford it. Right now, it's just a bit too much for my pocket. But eventually I will get around to it. It's on my wish list, so once I know it's at a good price and I'm ready to play it, then I'll grab it.
It's an Atlas game. It'll be on a decent sale.
I was just going to say, we just got this huge sale of Sega games, at least physically. I think it's just ending, today. But like a Dragon, Infinite Wealth and Persona 3 Reload were both half off physically.
Yeah, I think Reload's digital is 25%, I think.
Yeah.
I know. So, yeah, I think.
Yeah, same with Like a Dragon was also 25%. But if you bought one of the physicals, 50% off. Like, it was $50 Canadian for those games this week, which was crazy. So, yeah, I would imagine Unicorn Overload, if you wait fully, give it a couple months. I'm sure it'll be on sale.
You'll be fine. Yeah.
Yeah, nice. Ron, what do you think about this question?
The one that stands out that convinced me to get the game was Arkham Asylum. I wasn't all in on that one when I first saw footage of it and stuff. I was just kind of just like, it's going to be like any licensed property at the time. Rocksteady wasn't known to me, so it was just like, yeah, I'm not expecting much from this. But man, when I played that demo, I mean, they really nailed like Batman. It's just the whole detective parts, the stalking, the beat downs. They really had nailed it, and I was just kind of like, God, this is great. So yeah, that demo convinced me like, okay, I'm definitely getting this game. That's the one that stood out to me for sure when I read that question. The one demo that turned me away from the game was Rogue Galaxy. I was super hyped for that one. I really enjoyed Dark Cloud 2, but I played Rogue Galaxy, and that party AI is what really, I think, turned me off from that one. And I think that's what gave me my thing about party AI now. If it's not good, I just can't mess with it. The AI was just kind of just brain dead in that game. I'll be like, they were burning through potions. They wouldn't do anything to like save themselves. It's just like,
you gotta save them. Yeah, keep you on your toes.
I'm like, come on. I'm trying to kill things here. I don't need to babysit you. I'm like, what? Why are you like this?
You gotta do everything in this game. Everything.
Yeah.
That's my thing. Like, what? I should be able to set my behaviors, and you go off and just do your own thing. I don't got time to babysit you. I'm trying to save the world. I got better things to do here. Yeah. Instead, I'm sitting here listening to you, help me, and watching your health bar disappear. And I'm just like, why are you this stupid? And why are you a part of my team?
Now, hold the phone, Ron, because I have a question about this.
Okay.
So Rogue Galaxy was a PlayStation 2 game. Was this on a demo disc?
Yeah, it was on a demo disc.
Oh, dude.
Yeah, I want to say, I think it came in one of the magazines, and I can't remember which one it was for sure. And yeah, man, I was really disappointed with that. That kind of broke my heart because I was really looking forward to that. When that first trailer came out, I was like, yeah, I'm all in, man. Level 5, yeah, cool. Nope. After that demo, I was just like, yeah, Rogue Galaxy's not happening. Yeah. And it didn't.
Because I was going to say, like, I'm like, wait a second, there was actually a demo for Rogue Galaxy? I don't remember this.
Yeah,
because, PS2 games didn't really have demos other than on demo discs. So, yeah, that's cool. Yeah, we'll get to that in a little bit. But yeah, I just wasn't playing a lot of console demo discs. Whereas when I think about demo discs, I always think about PC demo discs. Like Sean and I have had a conversation about that before, where playing some like really crappy PC games that have demos, like Siberia as an example, which I have an old Let's Play over on my YouTube channel. It's like one of the worst games I've ever played in my entire life, but it had a demo to show me just how ridiculous that game was. So yeah, it was good. But Matt, I know since you don't play a lot of demos, I'm guessing you still really have any answers to this question, right?
Can't say that I do.
Oh, good. Gotta ask anyways. Well, next up, we got HVAC Sparky, who says, I haven't really played demos much recently. In theory, they are amazing because it gives you a taste of the game and lets you know if it is for you. However, did any of you end up playing a demo for hours on end like it was the full game? This happened to me as a kid. I didn't care. We played the demo for a game called Need for Speed Porsche Unleashed. I haven't played it in years, even though it only had one track and a small selection of cars. I finally was able to get the full game at some point. I was blown away by it having more than one track and multiple cars was such a novelty. For me, HVAC Sparky, like this is actually very much an Xbox thing, but when the original Xbox came out, we used to play like Halo over at my friend Mike's place a lot because he was my only friend who actually had an original Xbox, who bought one like right at launch day. And whenever we were tired of playing Halo, there was a demo on the original Halo's disc for Fusion Frenzy, which is kind of like the Xbox, equivalent of Mario Party in a lot of ways, where it has a bunch of mini games on it. And we would just sit there for just hours and just play the Fusion Frenzy demo that had like 2 different mini games on it, but it just let you play the mini games as much as you wanted. So one of them was called Twisted System, where it has you're like running up a pole and like there's either high pipes or low pipes that are coming out, and you have to like jump or duck depending on what type of pipe is coming, and it goes faster and faster and faster until everyone gets knocked down. Like that game, we played so much. We spent like hours upon hours. In fact, there were some nights where we played it more than Halo. So that's how much fun we were having with the Fusion Frenzy demo. So when I hear this question, HVAC Sparky, that's the one that comes to mind for me. But did any of you all actually have this type of experience? Because I just don't think that this is a common kind of thing that happens with demos.
Not really, no. I mean, the closest I've gotten is the Miitopia demo, where you could actually, like, it gives you the opportunity to play through a certain section of the game. But the fact that you also have to create me characters for the game, you could spend hours in the character creation section of that demo just creating characters. And then your save then, can be carried over into the actual full game. So you actually have those me characters you've created, then will carry over to the actual full game and you can use them there, which is actually really cool. So I'd say that's probably the closest I've gotten, but as a young kid, I never really like demos. I didn't know what they were.
I was going to say, yeah, with our age group specifically, like the four of us here, like we just didn't really come up with demos. Like there weren't really that many demos really until most of us were teenagers or in high school kind of thing, right? Like, cause yeah, like I know for me, like I'm like, or Ron, I know you probably feel the same way. Like other than like maybe some of the magazines that we got while we were in high school, like demos just weren't a thing. We didn't have, like we lived in we were playing games well into our like teens before the internet was even really a thing. Right.
Yep. So it didn't come inside the magazines, man. We just demos didn't exist, but HVAC, he brought up Need for Speed, and now I thought about that one, and Need for Speed Most Wanted, when they had a 360 demo, I played that a lot, and there really wasn't much in the demo, but it was just something about Need for Speed Most Wanted. That game was really good on 360, so, and it actually ended up convincing me to actually get the game, but yeah, I played that demo a lot before I finally got my hands on the game. It was just that fun.
Yeah. Jace actually brings up a good point as well, which is like, for us, in a lot of ways, like renting the game was the demo because you weren't really buying the game at full price. You were paying a couple bucks, taking it home for a weekend and then playing it and then seeing if you want to buy the game from there kind of thing. So I think that plays into it. Whereas now we have the PlayStation Plus, 2-hour trials to kind of, simulate that same kind of thing.
Those are an easy thing to get a hold of these days.
Yeah, exactly. All right, last question comes to us from CrocoKyle, who says, I think the main thing that matters to me personally is if the demo progress carries over, so I don't have to repeat anything when I get the full game. I think if you were to ask me like what kind of demo I prefer, it's definitely the type of demo that Square mostly does, or a lot of these companies are starting to do now, where it's like, it's the first, like rather than building a separate demo that's separate from the main game, just taking the first like hour or two of the game and turning that into the demo, because that'll give me an even more clear indication as to whether or not that game is for me. And then if the progress carries over, then you'll actually if I find that I like it, you're going to probably get my pre-order like when that happens. Like that's just usually the way that process works. Whereas, I might not pre-order a demo or a game if there isn't a demo for it or things like that, if I'm not sure about it. So yeah, I think that's definitely like the type of demo I prefer. Whereas like, does anyone actually prefer the opposite, where it's like, if a demo, you prefer a demo that's like not from the main game, that's like something completely like the Resident Evil demos?
Look, I sometimes don't mind if the demos are different to what the actual game is going to be, as long as it's still got the same aesthetics to it and it sort of just gives you an idea of what the gameplay is going to be. Like Sea of Stars was kind of similar to that, where they gave you like a short demo just so that you can see what to expect, but it wasn't technically like, I don't know, like the first part of the game. It was just like a random little bit of game that you can play through, which was really cool. And it still gave you an idea of what you would be coming across when playing the game. But I do tend to agree with CrocoKyle that if there's a game that comes with a demo, and most of the time if it's like the first little bit of the game, I would want to actually have that carry over into the full game, just so that I don't have to waste my time having to play through that bit again just to get to that point.
There's nothing worse than when it's a demo that is just the first 2 hours of the game, but it doesn't carry over. Like that's just like the worst feeling. Like,
I don't play those. Yeah.
It's one of the reasons why I like, back in the day, I used to play a lot of open betas for games. Like I for example, like I was a beta tester for almost every single Blizzard game, like going all the way back to Diablo 2 was the first one I was a beta tester for, but I was a beta tester for that and World of Warcraft and Warcraft 3 and so on and so forth. And I used to play those betas a lot but then it didn't really matter because none of your progress carried over to the main game. And like, that's like kind of where I fell out of those, whereas like I nowadays I see, open betas come up or, early access stuff, and I just don't bite on those because a lot of times the progress doesn't carry over. Like they'll wipe your progress at some point. So I just don't get invested in them. I might check them out for, 15 minutes to check to see if the game's for me and then put them down immediately. But like, I won't invest any time into them if that happens. But
I do see the value in doing like the first hour or two in a game to give you a taste. But then I also think about other games that like are a slow burn, like Death Stranding or Red Dead Redemption 2. Like if you did the demo the first hour or two, like you're just getting cutscenes and you don't even have like good gear at that point. So I just want to ask, like, do you guys think it'd be better for those kind of slower games to perhaps plop them in the middle? So at least when you have like more OP gear so that you're kind of in the groove of things, or is that not the proper experience because you're kind of cheating by getting halfway in? I don't know. Those games, like if you did the first hour of Death Stranding, it's not going to work. Like it might turn people away.
Yeah. Well, it's funny you say that because Ron, as you know, with the Stellar Blade demo, you have like, of course, the beginning of the game where you're not very geared, but then when you beat the demo, there's actually what's referred to as a boss showcase where you get to fight a later game boss with like all your skills and gear unlocked to give you a sense of like, well, what's the late game feel like?
Yep. And that was a great taste. Yeah.
And another game that did that actually really well was Final Fantasy 16's demo. Because Final Fantasy 16 that did that as well, where like, the demo was a cut section of the first part of the game, and then the actual like when you beat that, then you have like a boss demo where you play like a much later section with more of your powers and abilities and stuff unlocked, which was cool.
It's nice to, I think you have to give a taste, right? Like here's a little bit of introduction to the world building, but then like here's the meat and potatoes. Like when you're finally like get in the groove and you got good gear, good XP. I think it's a good way. It's really exciting to see what companies are doing for demos. It's really good.
Yeah, like I feel like Forspoken, like when I talked about that earlier, like I can definitely understand what you just talked about, why they didn't make the demo for that be just the first 2 hours of that game, because the first 2 hours of Forspoken is very different from the rest of the game, but in a good way. Like it was actually like one of the more interesting aspects of the game was kind of the first 2 hours, but it was mostly story and cutscenes and less about combat. So you wouldn't have gotten a sense as to what the rest of the game was going to be like if you played that section. And Death Stranding, I think, is another great example of that. Good one on that one.
Yeah, because that one only kicks in like after like 5-8 hours, which is a big ask for people. But it's only when you can start, building cars and like using other people's gear, and like when the music kicks in. Because the beginning when like you're just walking. It's pretty rough. Rough.
The whole game is like that. Stop these lies.
No, Ron, stop it.
Death Stranding never gets enjoyable.
There's more than just walking in that game.
There's more than walking. Okay.
Yes, throw ladders over a cliff. Yay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Very
oil people. Bad Kojima story.
Hey,
yes.
You also got to pick up your packages when they fall off your back.
Yes. Fall over because the packages are too heavy. Sounds like a great time. Yeah.
Your shoes break. The rain breaks your gear. A lot of good systems in here.
Oh, yes. Princess Peach on the
Kojima
beach.
did say in his documentary that Death Stranding is more like a walking adventure game than it was anything else.
Yeah.
Well, at least he called it for what it was.
Great adventure, Ron. Great adventure.
Yes, okay. Multipass.
Yeah.
Thanks.
I mean, y'all better be ready for DS2 to come out.
I'm ready.
I'm ready for DS2 and all the DS2 talk.
Just let me know when that's going to be on the show. I'll find that a convenient time to get sick or something.
Yeah, that'll be when Ron takes his break. But luckily, that's just going to happen the whole night. The whole rest of the year, we'll just be talking about that game.
Oh gosh, I don't know if I can be sick that long. I'll figure something out.
Look, we need to know what's on the beach, Ron. What's on the beach?
Oh
okay?
yes. It'll be Solid Snake or something. Kojima style.
Can you imagine? That'd be the best thing ever. Yeah, oh my god.
Konami might sue, but it would be great.
It'd be fun.
It's worth it. Please.
Fun.
Give it to me. I don't care how outlandish it is. Do it.
Yeah.
I'm all for it.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's let some of our friends into the car with us. Let's get to the rest of the questions from our podcast listeners. We're going to start with Kiku, who asks, have any of you read any gaming magazines? And if so, what was your favorite and why? did you play the disc-based demos that came with some of them? Obviously, Ron has played some of the disc-based demos.
Indeed, I have.
That came with them. Yeah, I mean, for me, when I was like reading gaming magazines is when I was, much younger. Before the internet actually existed, I had a subscription to Nintendo Power. And then my older brother Kyle, he had a subscription to Game Pro. And we would kind of just, pass the magazines back and forth, but none of them came with demos or anything like that, because this was the the Super Nintendo and Genesis era of games. But I remember having fond memories of reading Nintendo Power every single month, and all the cool different limited edition covers they had specifically for subscribers were super cool. I also remember when they sent us the VHS tape of the making of Donkey Kong Country, right when Donkey Kong Country was getting announced. I thought that was so cool to watch, to find out like how a game got made, because back then there just wasn't a lot of that information that was like publicly available out there. So like, yeah, those are kind of my memories of gaming magazines. I didn't really like in the PS1, PS2 and eras after that, like the internet was around, so I was already going to message boards or GameFAQs or other places to kind of find out about games. So I just wasn't really reading magazines. But Ron, I'll go to you first, because I know you talked about them already with the demo discs and stuff. What was your history with gaming magazines, man?
Nintendo Power and EGM were like my first like favorite magazines. EGM was kind of more my goat than anything else, but Nintendo Power was right there. Later, when the other consoles came, like with PlayStation and Xbox, that's when I started getting into PSM and the official Dreamcast magazine, the official Xbox magazine, the official PlayStation magazine. That's when all the demo discs kind of started coming with the magazines at that point. But and even Next Generation, they were a bit different than the other magazines were, because they were more focused on like the interviews and the inside baseball kind of stuff. But I enjoyed that one too. But yeah, man, magazines was really good back then. But of course, the internet came along, and like you said, after a while, it's like I don't have to wait for this to arrive in my mailbox in 30 days when I can see all the information now. So after a while, it just kind of just lost its luster with me. But it was good times though when magazines was rolling.
Yeah, when a lot of sites like IGN and stuff started to pop up, like that was like kind of the death knell for me with a lot of
them and GameSpot,
magazines.
man.
Yeah, GameSpot too, for sure. Matt, what about you? Do you read any magazines?
I didn't buy any magazines. I remember going to the library and trying to read them, but they were all mangled, so that didn't really work out. But I do remember very vividly, like whenever we went to the mall, my mom would drop us off at the bookstore, and that's when I would kind of peruse through the video game magazines, especially around the N64 era. So we didn't buy any, but I would kind of look through them, and I do remember vividly, at least like a few memories from it, which was seeing the preview for Resident Evil 0, and the preview for that was that it was supposed to be on the N64, and they had like pictures of the actual game, and then I was so hyped for it because I had the N64, and then shocker, it never came out to the N64, and it came to the GameCube. And then I also remember the same thing for Resident Evil 2 before the game that we actually got. It was like it's what fans call now Resident Evil 1.5, which was the older version, which had a different set of characters and different set pieces. And again, shocker, that game never came out. And I can't remember for Zelda. I don't know if it was like a video. Do you remember how they showed the next Zelda game after Majora's Mask? And it was like this very cool looking battle between like Link and Ganon, and then shocker, we didn't get that. We got Wind Waker.
It was a tech demo. It was never meant to be
Space World, I think was that one.
Yeah,
that was a tech demo, but it just made me think. I don't see that too often now, where game companies kind of promote their games and then they kind of pivot so hard in a different direction. I mean, it still happens here and there when I think of Prince of Persia remake, when they showed the trailer for that, and then they're like, "Oh, hard pivot."
I see that game needed a hard pivot.
Actually, Matt, do you remember when the PS3 was coming out and they did the PS3 tech demo for Final Fantasy VII?
Yes. Oh my God. Yes. And then shocker.
Yeah.
It never came.
It never came. People were just like, "Oh my God, Final Fantasy VII is getting a remake on the PlayStation 3? Oh my God, that's going to be a thing."
I remember.
People talked about that for so long, and then it never was.
Well, there was the Killzone fake demo.
There was the Killzone fake demo as well. where everyone was like, "Oh my god, this is going to change gaming
That did
forever."
look crazy. That
Killzone 2.
I stand corrected. Yes, and what was that other one? Like No Man's Sky? Like that was a very different game at the beginning.
But you know what?
was
To
promised.
their credit, though, they met these
fixed it.
expectations and went beyond that. So
They fixed it. They fixed
I think he
it.
learned his lesson, from that. But yeah, he kind of paid everybody back tenfold with that one. They came back for vengeance on that.
No, that was a good point about magazines though, because like there are so many games that got canceled that got previews in magazines. Like StarCraft Ghosts is another one that I think about too, which was I was like so
that
excited
one looked
about.
good, man. That was a shame.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the stealth game in the StarCraft universe. Oh my god, I can't believe that got canceled. It was like it was already finished and they just canceled it.
Yeah, and then every few years they would sit there and say it was getting ready to come out, and you were like, "Oh, this is great," and then it would disappear again. And you'd be like,
Yep.
Now they're playing games with us. It really is a ghost.
I mean, there was also a preview in a PlayStation magazine for The Legend of Dragoon 2 on PlayStation 2, and I was like so sad that never came out either. So, yeah, breaking hearts over here. What about you, Fulia? Did you read magazines at all growing up?
I mean, I read magazines, but I don't think gaming magazines were really on my list, my reading list. Every time I went to the supermarket, though, I would see like the Club Nintendo magazine on the shelf, and every time we get to the checkout, it'll be there. And while Mum's like waiting to pay for her groceries, I'll just pick it up and just sort of flick through it every now and then. But that's as far as I've gotten, because I know that my parents were not the type to be like, we're not going to spend money on frivolous things. So I didn't end up buying any kind of gaming magazines. Yes, Ron?
Hi, Koala. Did you happen to read any tennis magazines?
No, I did not.
Oh, okay.
Shocker.
At least not that I can remember. But yeah, no, it wasn't
I'm
really
a bit surprised by that, to be honest.
Yeah.
Look, I
Anna
don't know what
K's on
it
the
was
magazine.
back in the day. I just loved playing tennis games. What can I say? And then I tried the real thing, and it wasn't for me.
Yep, it's fine.
But it's come full circle because now I actually work at the tennis tournament.
Yeah, exactly. And
Tennis is your life. This is what it is.
we're just waiting one day for your selfie with some big tennis player or something
Anna
like
K.
that, just to show 'em.
Anna K.
Anna K.
I wasn't
Respectfully,
going
of
to say
course.
it. I was
There
gonna
you
say
go.
If Attica does ever come down, I will try my best to get a
Please let me and Matt know. Respectfully, of course.
Please.
And when we play Top Spin 2K25 next month, we'll be building Anna K and the character creator as well.
She should be in the game. I need to write them a letter. It'd
No,
be like,
you just
2K,
make your own Anna K.
This is wrong. She's a legend.
Anyways, CrocoKyle has a separate question. He asked, "What is a video game setting or ability you'd like to carry over to your real life? Unlimited inventory, save states, lives, fast travel. What kind of abilities do we want for games that Fulia already clearly has?
Yeah, she's ready for it. Look at her.
Look, I would love to just fast travel without having to worry about traffic here, just in general. Just fast travel from point A to point B, and I'll be happy. If fast travel was a thing in terms of traveling like overseas and stuff, that would be awesome. But if we're just going to keep it in terms of just like life stuff, then, just fast travel between here and work, home and work, and shopping, and just,
See, the way I would read this question is that fast travel would work the same way it works in most games, which is any place that you've been to before that has a fast travel marker, you can fast travel
You
to.
go back to Canada again for 2 years.
Exactly.
Or 3 this time.
Or likewise.
And then I can travel down to the US, and then I can make a fast travel point there.
That'll be fine. Yeah.
I mean, I clearly left a fast travel point when I went to Japan, so I just instantly travel back to Tokyo whenever I want. Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
I agree. And then another thing that I kind of was before the show was kind of testing a thing where I was like, okay, this would be very helpful if we could double jump.
Oh, nice.
Hold on.
I would like a double
Why
jump.
are you trying to
because
double jump?
I am
For
a
tennis.
short koala, okay? I want to be able to reach things from high up places like my bookshelves and up in the kitchen in the high cupboards. I don't need to go and grab a stepladder or a chair just so that I can stand up on it to grab things. Double jump.
I mean, you and Jace are on the same page. Double jump was the first thing you thought of, too.
Give me that double jump.
But like, wouldn't the double jump like hurt your legs if you jump too high?
No, clearly it doesn't hurt Mario.
Well, Mario's like a superhero or some sort.
Yeah.
No, he's not. He's just a plumber.
Actually, he's always high on mushrooms. That's a difference. So he doesn't feel it.
Yeah.
No, if the ability to double jump was a thing, you would not be hurt by it.
Okay.
Okay.
Fair enough. Well, Matt, what about you? What's one video game ability you would like to have in real life?
I don't know. There's so many that I want. If I had to pick one, maybe the fuse ability from Totki. Like, I know, like, you make things that are pretty jank, but like it works. Like, I don't care. I'm just not handy around the house. So if I can just like fuse everything together and just make it work and it sticks like that, great. That's what I would like. And like if I can have like once I fuse it, I can make it again. What else can you do? Like you can pull out items out of nowhere, like I don't know, fans and stuff like that. Just the fuse ability. Just let me make stuff easily, just like that.
Nice. All the abilities are one experience.
Thank you. Thank you.
Jace.
Thank you.
Nice.
One full experience. Thank you, Jace.
Oh my god. Good God.
All of them.
Ron, save us. What's yours?
Infinite money, man. Infinite money.
Infinite money is not a video game ability.
It is.
It is.
That's a
That's a
cheat.
cheat.
That's a
Doesn't
cheat.
matter. Cheat is ability.
code.
Cheat is an ability.
No. Then the ability would be cheat codes and not
Yeah.
just money.
Hey.
They
Cheat code
would
is an
give you
ability.
access to all kinds of crazy stuff.
There you go. Well, I was just saying, if you God mode, if you want to go there, but yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm not budgeting for this. Cheat codes and ability. Infinite money. Give it to me. Then I can sit there and go fly everywhere to visit friends. I can sit there and not have to worry about a job every day. Yeah. Uh-oh. Yeah, Koala. What you got?
So you like the idea of having cheat codes as an ability, and yet in real life you don't like cheap platinums.
Yeah, nah, that's not the same thing. Cheap platinums, they don't take any effort. They
Take
okay.
effort. You have to buy the game, download the game,
Okay, so
install
you
the
buy
game.
you buy the game for 59 cents. You spend 10 minutes just holding the button left, and there you go, a platinum. No, that's not effort, man. We're not gonna do that. I'll fight anybody over that one.
It's effort. Just less.
Well, then
just
not.
less effort.
This also means that if you get cheat codes as your life thing, then you would make platinums easier for you, which in fact means it's a cheap plat.
How would platinums be easier for me with more money?
No,
Yeah.
you use the cheat code to be better at gaming so that
Nah.
you can platinum.
Nah, you would
them.
rather
It's
just
not the
use the
same.
cheat code for unlimited money. You never have to
It's
do
not the same.
Only the money. Just the money. That's it.
Yeah, nah. Cheap platinums and unlimited money ain't the same.
I mean, you could even use your own level skip code to skip levels.
Nah,
in
it's
your
not the
life.
same. It's not the same.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, I don't know if I can top that. But the one I came up with was my Sim 4's character's vampiric talent tree. Where, of course, in The Sims 4, if you become a vampire, you're given a talent tree with all these different, abilities you have. But, the downside is it turns you into a vampire. But for me, it's not a downside. I would love to be a vampire and just, be a creature of the night, living forever. But you have a bunch of different abilities that you earn through the talent tree as you become more and more powerful. So I could earn the ability in real life to turn into mist or turn into bats or, just walk in the day or be impervious to anything. So it's very similar to kind of the logic that Ron had with the cheat codes, but it's an actual in-game mechanic that doesn't involve cheating.
So Ryan pretty much picked God mode in Dracula form.
Yeah.
Is what he picked.
All the abilities. All the
Yeah, but the
abilities.
thing is,
One.
yeah.
He's Dracula. He's Dracula.
That's right.
I'd finally be able to walk in the day, though. That would be the main thing.
That's great.
But wouldn't your weakness still be like garlic and crosses and
No, because in the talent tree, there's a talent you can take that gets rid of that.
Oh my god.
and steak?
So,
Wouldn't
yeah, so
steaks?
it's like I said, he would be Dracula in God mode.
Yeah, pretty
I'm
much.
not sure we would need somebody like that.
I mean, there's a reason why my sim has so much money. It's because you never have to
man.
sleep. You
The
never
world
have
would
to
be in danger.
Stop.
See,
You
Matt,
just live forever.
This is the kind of villains that you guys would be
calling a
taking on
Buffy
for
the
real.
Vampire Slayer? Anyone?
The only negative thing is I just have to go out every night and drink people's blood, which I can live with. I can live
We're
with
okay
that.
with that.
His whole town is going to be, well, probably the whole hemisphere that he's at is all going to be vampires.
That's not how turning someone into a vampire works, Ron. You have to have them drink your blood. That's how that
Ron.
works.
Look, I'm mad at the fact that he's done research on this. I did
the research, otherwise known as playing The Sims 4. Okay? That was my research. Because that's where this comes from. This is The Sims 4 logic here. And The Sims 4 is just a simulation of real life anyway. So, I mean, it's just pretty close to what reality now.
I don't know much about Sims 4. I would have to ask my daughter or my mom about it. They play the mess
out
of that.
I was this close to picking the werewolf tree instead, because there's actually a werewolf tech tree instead, which has a different set of traits and abilities. But the only downside there is you just turn into a werewolf every full moon, which is fine. I can deal with that.
It's going to be interesting to see where the Sims movie goes.
I mean, the Sims movie could go all over the place.
Like for all the listeners, this is where all of a sudden Ryan starts to become the villain.
No,
prepare yourselves. Prepare yourselves. This is where we're going. Foreshadowing.
I like the fact that you're saying starting to become the villain when what makes you think I haven't been the villain the whole time? Sean knows this from doing the Xbox drive with me for 3 years. He knows I'm the true villain. Whenever anyone would ask us a question about Fallout, and then they'd be like, what did you do when you went to Megaton? I'm like, I blow it up every single time. And I laugh pressing the button because it's great. That's just who I am.
Oh, man.
Wow.
Oh, jeez.
Anyways, last question this evening comes to us from Quaggy, who says, Immortals Phoenix Rising continues to live rent-free in my head. What is your favorite new IP in the last 5 years? This is an interesting question. Because, we've had a lot of, new IPs that have come out. And for those that don't know, of course, a new IP is just any new gaming franchise that popped up in the last 5 years would qualify here. Like anything that's not like a remake or a reboot or like a licensed game, like anything else besides that is what we would constitute like a new IP. So we'll go around the horn here, and we'll start back with Ron. What is your favorite new IP of the last 5 years?
Easy picks, man. Ghost of Tsushima and Elden Ring. Those were easy ones. I would even throw Cyberpunk in. I haven't played it yet, but Cyberpunk, you gotta put that in there.
You're gonna get a well actually from me on that one, because Cyberpunk is not a new IP. It is based off a pen and paper role playing game.
Yeah, okay. Correction then. Take Cyberpunk off. I was thinking in video game form. I didn't know about that, but since Matt, that's fine. Ghost of Tsushima, Elden Ring. There we go.
Those are some good picks. Good picks. Matt, what about you?
This was hard because I was thinking of a lot of new games I played, and I'm like, well, technically they're remakes, they're remasters, they're sequels. I'm part of the problem. I'm always buying the remasters and remakes and sequels. I'm sorry. I am sorry. I'm not buying. See, I should be buying Stellar Blade to be, supporting new IPs. I will in 2025, just not in 2024. But same pick as Ron. Like Ghost of Tsushima, like that just blew me out of the water, man. Like Infamous was really good. But I don't think it would. I don't think it put. I mean, it's really good, but I don't think it put Sucker Punch on the map the way Ghost of Tsushima did. Like Infamous is really good, but there's a lot of minor flaws to it. But Ghost of Tsushima, especially when you look at the budget and the scope of it, like it's unbelievable what they were able to accomplish for that. And that's, for me personally, probably the most exciting new IP to see come from Sony. Whenever, like, hey, cook as long as you need to. I just, I want it to be as good as or better than the first game, but that one most exciting about.
Ryan, can you ban Seth from the chat right now?
Why?
Why are we banning Seth?
Yeah, totally safe. That man does not know.
He's just agreeing with you. He's agreeing with you. He's like on board with it.
Same page as us.
Seth is killing me.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Good God. All right, Flea, what about you?
I don't play a lot of new IP. I mean, I probably do, but I just can't think of them. The only one that I could really think of is Bugsnax. And Bugsnax was just so much fun. It's almost like a Pokemon game, but not really. But you're just going around, collecting little bug snacks.
It's in the name, right?
It's in the name. and it's so much.
That's the game where you eat your neighbors and stuff, right?
No.
No, come on.
Eat the bug snacks.
Yeah. Jeez, what kind of game is this?
Good God.
Far out, Ron.
I'm surprised you didn't put Spiritfarer in there. That's a new IP.
Was it from the last 5 years?
I think so.
That
It
I don't
was
know.
2020.
Yeah.
Hey, it made it.
Well, there you go. Yes, Spiritfarer was also up
Two
there
games.
as well. There you go. 2 games.
Yeah. Nice. I'm going to give you guys 2 examples, actually. One we talked about earlier on the show. Forspoken. I like that game a lot. It almost made my top 5 games of last year. So I like that game a lot more than other people. And the other one that I was going to bring up, of course, is the most Ryan Turford example of ever, 13 Sentinels Aegis Rim. I know Vanillaware never really does sequels to their game, but that's one, like, after I finished playing, where I was like, for the love of God, please make a sequel to this game. Because, like, that was one where it's just like, I would love to see more in that universe. Because that story was just so good. And
That's a great pick.
Yeah.
That's a great pick.
That
and Forspoken should not be in the same, like, within the same.
but this is just my personal preference.
I know.
I was also very close,
Wow.
Ron, to saying Outriders as well. I also really liked Outriders as well. But there you go. Yeah, I'm glad Jace agrees with me in the chat as well.
Yeah, 13 Sentinels is in my backlog.
Yeah.
should
Is there
play that.
really?
You should
Is there
play
really
that.
no
13
sequel
bro.
coming? There's
There-
no sequel coming for sure.
Not that we
sequel
know
for
of.
sure. I mean, Vanillaware, as I mentioned, just doesn't really do sequels to their games at all. So I would be very surprised if they did one. The only game they came close to doing a sequel to is actually Dragon's Crown, because instead of 13 Sentinels, it was actually supposed to be Dragon's Crown 2 that they were doing, but they ended up pivoting from that, which is too bad. But yeah, there's a lot of good new IPs and new games around. I know a lot of people really like Stray last year. Like, that was a big one that
Yeah, Stray was fun.
would be on most people's lists. So yeah, there's a lot of good ones out there. Well, anyways, before we go, we got to thank all of our patrons over at patreon.com/carpoolgaming, starting with our ultimate producers, Tony Baker from the Quest 4 Pixels podcast. You can check them out over at youtube.com/quest4pixels. That's the number 4, not 4 spelled out. We also got Jonathan Brown, the man behind the music on this podcast on the Xbox Drive. You can find a link tree to all of his music at linktr.ee/pme.jib. Lee Navarro, the fearless leader of the Phoenix Overdrive Extra Life team. You can check that out over at phoenixoverdrive.com. Or if you go to the Extra Life page, maybe you go sign up over on Extra Life for Phoenix Overdrive, the team. Because maybe join us in New York in November. Maybe, please. We'll see. I swear we'll be playing Pepsi Man. It's going to be great. And then Cwagmire, who humbly reminds you that the best babes are, in fact, Xenobabes. Our platinum producers, which of course is the official tier of the PlayStation Drive, Robby, Bobby Miller, and Smokin Joe. And our gold members, Adam K, Anna, Awesome Dave 1337, BobLoblaw, Brad Moore, Brian Reese, Cecily Carrozza, CrocoKyle, Dan and Luma, Dannohh, Emily O'Kelly, Jan32, Marcus O'Neill, Peje EP, and Tim Aulph. Huge thank you to all of our patrons over at patreon.com/carpoolgaming. If you want to hop in the car with us, head on over there and choose the tier that's right for you. And now, Fuyo Plugs, go.
You can find me at foolishfuji.card.co. That's card with 2 R's. And you can find all my socials and other platforms there, including my podcast.
Nice. Matt, where can people find you?
You can find me as Nagachaka on the Discord and the Twitters. You can see me suffering through many mini games in Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, so definitely check it out.
And His Royal Baroness, where can we find you?
Savoy Prime, PlayStation, Xbox, Steam, backlogged, Savoy_Prime on Twitter.
Nice. As for me, you can find me on the old Twitter, otherwise known as X, as Ryan Turford. You also find us on X at Carpool Gaming, right here, youtube.com/Carpool Gaming. Of course, podcast services around the globe. So for Fuya, Matt, and Ron, I'm Ryan. This has been the PlayStation Drive, episode 143, and we're out. Good night, everybody.
Happy
Adios,
Easter!
friends.
Bye-bye.
Thanks for checking out this week's episode of the PlayStation Drive. Now, before you drive off, please make sure to like and subscribe on YouTube and follow us at Carpool Gaming on socials. Don't forget to check out our awesome merch on carpoolgaming.com, and you can also support the show on Patreon at patreon.com/carpoolgaming, where you'll unlock all kinds of exclusive content. Links to everything are in the description.